Okay. Remove that. And we'll go here. We'll go here. Save changes. All right, we are now live. Appreciate everyone who's joining the show tonight. Listen, I have a wonderful guest. We're not going to take up a lot of your time tonight, but we appreciate you if you're chiming in now, if you're going to chime in a little bit later. My guest tonight is a Daytonian. Well, he's actually born in Springfield, Ohio. Later moved to Dayton, Ohio in his life, where he starred at Dayton Dunbar High School in football, as well as other sports. He received a scholarship to the University of Nebraska at the time in the Big 8 Conference, on their way of building their program to winning a total of 5 national championships. He played under the legendary coach Tom Osborne. Okay. This guy was a black shirt. He was a captain. He was a star for the Cornhuskers. He was also an all-conference selection. He played briefly for the New York Jets and the Denver Broncos of the NFL, but he starred in the World Football League for several seasons. He has coached basically at all levels, okay, y'all? Listen, he's even coached under the legendary Hall of Fame coach who coached Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. That's right. He's also coached under, are you ready? The great coach from Alabama, Nick Saban. He has been in the HBCU ranks for many years. He's won 7 championships. He is currently the assistant head football coach and the defensive coordinator, right, at Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. NCAA Division II football is what we're talking, y'all. It's that time of year again. We are ready to get back rolling. Please welcome to the show one of the best coaches I know. You ready for this? Coach L.C. Cole to the show. How you doing, Coach?
Doing pretty good.
Listen, I appreciate you being here. I know what it took for you to even get here. And it's glad to have you back. I'm just glad to have you back on the show. That's one thing. Listen, I'm going to get right into it. It was such a pleasure talking with your wife, Mrs. Cole. Missy Cole, been with you for 34 years or longer. Wonderful, wonderful queen. What could we do without our queens in our life? It's just another, that's a long story in a book in itself. Coach, we're going to jump right in. Last year, when you was on the show, you was down at Allen. You was at Allen University.
Yep.
You have now transitioned. There it is. You have now transitioned to Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. You're going from a team where you're going to a team that went winless last season. You're leaving a winning tradition over at Allen and basically most of your stops. I told your wife, I said, as long as I know Coach Cole has transferred there, I ain't going to worry about the defense. I also said, I know that your brother there, if Stevie is there, I ain't going to worry about the defense. My question to you is, who did you bring in from Allen? I know you had some transfers with this schedule that we're going to talk about. You know, how is it going to translate offensively as well for you guys? Did you bring a quarterback in from Allen as well? Just explain that for us, because I ain't worried about you defensively. it's that offense. So you're gonna be able to kickstart that offense.
Well, we was real good offensively at our university, and then our quarterback was the quarterback player of the year, and he came along. All our wide receivers, and maybe I think something like 4 of our offensive linemen is going to be joining us. So, we kind of got that same offense kind of intact too. With the guys that left out and came with us, and the same way on the defense. Defense, we had something like about eight or nine guys transferred from Allen on our defense, transferred to Clark. So, we won't be starting from scratch, because we'll have some guys that kind of know what our system is all about.
Absolutely, Coach. Absolutely, Coach. Let's go a little bit over the schedule here. So I'm looking at the schedule here. You guys start off with Fort Valley State, okay? A team that has a winning tradition. You got those guys August the 31st, next month coming up. That's how close we are to the season, about 4 or 5 weeks away. And then you got Allen at home right after that. And that's your former school. We just going to take it slow. But I got to look down the schedule here. You're coming back home to Central State University as well. And then you got to win. You got to win against your rival in Morehouse College. Go over the schedule a little bit for us, Coach.
Well, that first game, when I first joined Allen's program, we was all over, all over Fort Valley. We ended up losing the last play of the game. I mean, it was heartbreaking. The next year, we played them at home, and they kind of beat us. So it's the history that Clark has never beat Fort Valley in the history of each program. So this is a big game for us. And just like you just said, Albany's Fort Valley is one of the best teams in the league. They on our side over there. So it's critical if you beat one of the best teams at the top, that kind of like keep you in the front running. And this game is very important for us. That Fort Valley game is very, very important for us to win. I think it would set us on fire if we beat a team that we have never beaten in the history of the school. I think it would, set some presence around there and wonder everybody what's going on at Allen. And I tell you what, Atlanta would be lit up if we won that game.
Absolutely. And we definitely hoping and pulling and praying that you guys pull that game off, because anytime you can start off setting the tone with a win, Coach, I mean, that's phenomenal. And then you would be coming back home, which you make it better playing against.
Oh, yeah. And then, Fort Valley ranked number 2 in the conference too. So, and we're ranked number 11. So we're down at the bottom there, number 11. So it'd be just great if we can knock off, one of the top teams.
Wow. What is it about the quarterback? I believe his name is David, like my name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is it that you think he could bring to the table from the quarterback position that would improve from last year for you guys?
Well, I think the biggest thing with David is playing smart, being a good leader. He's got to be a good leader, and he's got to understand the game a little bit more better than we were, at Allen. Now, you got some new people. So he's got to be that captain of the ship, and he's got to make sure things are right, things are all in place, making sure that we get the ball to the right people. And I think he can do it too. He's a gunslinger type quarterback. In high school, he's from Florida. He played behind a quarterback that played at Washington, was a first-round pick at Atlanta Falcons. So he played behind that guy in high school. So you're talking about, from good program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I look at this schedule, I just want to ask you, being a Daytonian, a star in that particular area, when you go back and you play a Central State, and you walk into Central State First, how do they treat you, coach? And then secondly, I know last time you played Central State, well, last year, um, for Clark Atlanta, it didn't turn out well. So we want to win this particular year, but you're going on the road. How do you feel? What's your thoughts on that particular game going back home?
Just correct on that, Allen. We beat them last year. We beat Central State. We
Okay.
we came.
No, I meant Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta lost
yeah,
Central
Clark
last year.
Atlanta, Clark Atlanta, they lost. That's one thing we got to teach our guys. Is to win. We got to change their attitude about winning, and that's what we did during spring football. We had a real tough spring this past spring, and I'll just say this: I started out with 48 football players, 48 defensive football players. By the time spring was over, I ended up only having 8. So it was a real tough spring. So we really had to get out and recruit bring some more players in and everything like that to want to do it our way, and that's what happens when you see a program like Clark. Clark was they didn't win a game the year before, and the year before that they only won 1. So in 2 years they only won 1 game. So you have to start figuring out what's wrong with the program, and that's what we had to do. We had to see the guys who really want to play, who really want to put all the effort in there and what you need. And, to win, you got to have great defense. And I've always said in my entire life, defense win championships, offense sell tickets. That's what happens.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate that. That's why I know y'all going to be good on that defensive side. I ain't even worried about it.
And I'm excited about coming to Central. We come back to Central and in front of a hometown crowd. A lot of family members are there. I had 4 brothers played at Central State. So Lyle, Stevie, Johnny. I mean not Johnny, but Stevie, Trent, and Duro. They played at Central State. So it'd be like a family union. So I got to figure out who they're gonna be rooting for since they graduates of Central State.
Oh my gosh! That's gonna be something else. That's gonna be like when you and Mrs. Cole, with her being a Wisconsin Badger, she was sitting up and telling me about on that day, you rooting for the Cornhuskers. She over here, she said, I love you, but I'm going for my badge.
Well, she's been up on
that. That's how it is with you and your brothers.
Yeah, she's been up on top of me now since the Huskers ain't been doing very well.
Absolutely. We talk about that a little bit more coming up. But I just want to finish up on this schedule. Coach, when you look at the schedule, I'm just going to go down at Fort Valley State, Allen, Florida Memorial, Bethune-Cookman, Lane College, Savannah State, Central State University, Miles College, Tuskegee, and Morehouse. It's a tall task, this particular schedule coming in there, but you guys are going to definitely improve. There's no way. I'm willing to almost guarantee this. There's no way you guys go over 10. That's not going to repeat. The Cole brothers are in town now.
You look at that schedule. That is a tough schedule. The biggest thing that I just don't hope is that if you look at that schedule, we got a lot of away games. I mean, we going all the way to Central, going all the way to Florida 2 times in a row, almost back to back. So all them games are away games. So those are long distance games. Lane, we playing them in Memphis. So them games are kind of like back to back, back to back, back to back, and then hope it just don't put a strain on us and all that. We able to handle that.
Your staff that you brought over, and Coach Keaton here, and Coach Cunningham, and of course yourself, Coach Stevie Cole, and different. You confident in the staff that you have. You confident in the transfers that you have. It is a pretty daunting schedule, but I do see wins here because simple fact, you guys gonna be gritty and gonna be tough. What's it gonna be like having your brother on staff with you down here?
Well, it's Stevie has coached with me before when I was coaching at Morgan State. He
Mm-hmm.
ended up coaching with me at Morgan State, so we just kind of like uniting back again. So I kind of like being coaching by myself, but it's always great to have a family member because you kind of think a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
when you want an answer or discuss somebody with something, you're gonna get the correct answer from that person. And I know Stevie don't play the game, played at a high level when he was at Eastern Washington, and I think he can add a lot to the program.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, let me move in here a little bit more into my notes, Coach. So we did the introduction. I'm going to come here. Are you wearing any of those rings? Because in the last interview, on our first interview, I said to myself, David, you missed something. Coach was wearing that ring, and I didn't get you to throw that ring up. Is any of those rings close by, them 7 championship rings?
Oh, I mean, they're probably like about 5 feet away from me.
Mom Mitzi.
Yeah.
Mom Mitzi Cole. Get us a couple of them rings and flash them up, Coach, because that picture that I posted, them 7 championship rings, I meant to get that last time because that's something that's memorable. I wanted you to speak a little bit about winning championships, some of the championships that you have won. And I know you and Johnny coached together and had a lot of success.
Yes.
Speak a little bit about them championship rings and you and Johnny's success together, Coach.
Well,
Y'all set records.
we kind of joined together. Really, we kind of joined together at the hip at Tennessee State. Well, we was at University of Cincinnati together. I was already there. We ended up bringing JC to Cincinnati to coach our receivers. And then once he got there, he wanted me to bring some of them rings. Once we got there, JC the one who kind of talked me into going to Tennessee State.
Okay.
He said, you ought to apply for because I was assistant head coach and coaching outside backers at Cincinnati. So I went over and interviewed, and they ended up giving us the job. And then so brought JC, brought him along and some other guys that we kind of knew a little bit there. And, we just kind of put that thing together. JC was an offensive-minded guy. He's a whiz at that. He was a quarterback in college, so it made it kind of easy for him to put things together. And I ran the defense, even though I was the head coach. I ran the defense and special team. So we just kind of put it together, and we went out and we recruited the type of players that we wanted in the program, got a couple of transfers from here and there, and then we just kind of really put it together and had a good spring. Our spring football was tough. We kind of went in, and some people always like, why was some of this stuff important? Is during that time, we didn't let guys wear braids and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. You had to be a clean cut, shaved guy, mustache, hair, and everything. That was our motto, that we feel that if you give up something, if a young man gives that up, then you know that he's committed. But if he's griping about some hair or this like that, then he's not committed to what you're trying to do. So once we got them things kind of established a little bit, we started going. My wife, she ended up bringing this ring, one of the rings in here. What is this? That's Nebraska. That's the Big 8 championship ring, one in Nebraska.
Ooh, that's that Big 8 championship ring at Nebraska, y'all.
Yeah.
Them corn huskers.
Right. And then when we was there, we went to and then this one I won at Toledo with Coach Nick Saban right here.
Oh man, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, University of Toledo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And then this one was our first one at Tennessee State University. We won that one, our first one.
Nice, Coach.
And then the second championship, we went 11-0 at Tennessee State. That was the other one.
Y'all heard that? 11-0. And that was that one.
And then when I went to Concordia over there, we won a national championship. So that's a national championship right there.
There it is. That's at least, what's that, 5 or 6 of them right there, Coach.
Yeah. I had some of them I didn't
7.
show, but there was just a couple of them that she just got and just brought over here and just showed. But I got some other ones, orange bowl watches, cotton ball, all that kind of stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. I tell you, man, that's some hardware that you'll always be able to look at, pass down generations, whatever you want to do, something that nobody can take from you. And it's definitely to be recognized. We really appreciate you showing them championship rings.
And one of the why we praise that Tennessee State so much is that we took a all black school and we won a conference, Ohio Valley, which was an all white conference, and we was the only black team in there. Yes. So we kind of made history by winning that conference because Tennessee State had been in that conference ever since 1984.
Yes.
And they never won it, and we came in there, ended up winning it, but we ended up winning it back to back. So, we kind of hit a little history there, being the first black school to win a championship in an all-white conference.
That was a phenomenal feat. Did you guys hear that? The first ever, you looking at coach, African-American, to win a league championship in a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution or conference. And, him and his brother did a lot of things together. We appreciate you guys for that, making that type of history, man. The other thing that I wanted to say to you, I got some things listed here. Let's see. We already went over the win column on how you think you guys are going to do there. We went over your transfers, Coach. Let's see what else here. Coach, is there any specific changes and adjustments that you had to make defensively when you came over? You have a wonderful defensive background. Are you going to change what they were doing next from last year and just implement your whole defensive plan? Is it a whole new scheme, and how are the kids adjusting so far?
Yeah, we'll be different from what they usually ran. They ran more of a 4-2-5, a 4-man front, 4-2-5 with 2 nickel guys and all that. We're gonna come in. We'll run a 34. We'll run a 3-man front with 4 linebackers. So we're a little bit more different than them. And then we're more of a pressure team. We're not a zone team that just sit back and let you dictate to us. What we try to do is come after you and make you have to make some mistakes and stuff. And that's what we do. We want to be very aggressive. My thing is the defense we play, we're trying to get our kids to be at that level. So if they're ambitious to play in pro football, then the way we play and the way the pros play, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get them into that, because if you look at the game now is all passing. So if you're a great defensive back and you can cover, you got a chance of making it. The same thing with our D-line guys. If you can put pressure on the quarterback, then you got a chance to make it.
Absolutely, because that's what I was going to ask you. Are you going to have a balance? Were you going to be more run, or you going to be more pass?
Well, David led the conference in passing. We led the conference last year in passing. So I think we'll be 50-50. I think we're going to run the ball a little bit more than always gunslinging. When I was at Allen, we probably threw the ball probably in the nature of 80-20. So that's a lot, 80 times versus 20%.
Exactly.
20% running. So, we got the players that can do it. We got some great receivers. I'm going to tell you that. We got some great receivers at Allen. All them receivers that were at Allen, that's at Clark, and that's what I just said. We got some firepower.
Well, I know for sure, David, I love that name. That's my name. He's going to hit some of them guys deep, because you got the talent there. There's no doubt about that. Coach, when you speak of the conference, let people know this is NCAA Division II football. Speak about what it's like playing in this conference, because I know this has been a phenomenal conference for years. Speak about the conference, the Division II level of play in that particular conference, and how kids young athletes, men and women, can go to a school like a Clark Atlanta University and excel?
Well, when you look at, I would say, because I've been in that division before, because I was at Lane, which is in the conference, and then now I'm at and I was at Stillman,
Mm-hmm.
and then now I'm at Clark. And if you look back, if you look at back, there's some great players come out of that conference.
Yes.
All right, if you go to Lane, Jacoby. All right, Jacoby was one of our players at Lane College. Unfortunately, bless his heart, he passed away. About last week. We went to his funeral the other day. So Jacoby Jones, he the one that caught that winning pass in the Super Bowl for the Ravens and everything. So he was our player who we JC developed when he was at Lane College. So then I come to Stillman, and then I had a guy by the name of Junior Gillette, was a great football player he was with the New Orleans Saints, with the Redskins, was a great player. So when you look in this conference, they have a lot of great players in this conference that plays up on the top level. So it kind of tell you what that conference is all about. It's a real good, well coached and good player conference.
Speak about the Division II level. Let individuals know what it's like in terms of today. Sometimes people only talk about the Division I level. We living in a society now where not just basketball, but football is also it's an international sport. They've got the United Football League now. They've got different leagues. They've got Canada. You played in the World Football League. These guys, and I just want to make a point because it's gonna come. We're gonna get back to it later, but I want you to tell them about where their career can go. Not only can you get a great education at Clark Atlanta or HBCU schools in general, but you can also make it, believe it or not, to Canada, to the NFL, to the United Football League or whatever, Canada, wherever you want to go and be a professional athlete as well, because it's talent. But in today's market, you got kids going from Division II up to Division I now. You got kids going from Division III to Division II. They moving all around. How are you guys as a staff keeping up with all of this stuff that go on with the portals and different things and this new name, image, likeness, and dealing with that at your particular level, Coach?
That's you saying the right questions. That's the toughest deal. Since we've been in the league, we don't lost quite a few players to upper level players. We lost from Allen, we lost a wide receiver. We came to Clark. I think Clark, we done lost something like 5 players to upper level. So what's happening is the Division I is coming down, taking our best players.
Absolutely.
And they're, they got the NIL and they have that type of money. We don't have that type of money. We're academically, we're sound and smart on that way, but our level, you don't have the money and all the resources that these other schools had. And see, what they can do now is not take a high school player, let the high school player come to us and let us develop him and get him ready for them to come down there and pick, our letter, and they ain't got to mess with high school. See, that's what's going on with this portal.
Yeah.
If you're not a Power 5 player, you're not getting recruited at that Division I. The Division I now is looking down to 1AA, down to Division II, and taking your players. And I like to say we don't lost something like almost like 10 players from Clark that's went that way, then went up to the top level. And I mean, you can't blame the kid. I mean, he's got to look out for his family. If they offer him that kind of money, I mean, what can you do? And that's the fortunate thing that's happening right now, especially in black college. That's what's happening in black college a lot. The PWI is just robbing our cradle and taking our players.
Coach, I appreciate your honesty in speaking about this because I've been talking about this for years. I saw it coming, and name, image, likeness hasn't been around a long time. The transfer portal hasn't either. I saw it coming. A lot of these high school kids in football, basketball, and different sports are being left behind, where they're letting the smaller schools, the Division twos, the Division threes, and different prep schools, whatever you want to call it, they're developing them, get them in there for you too, and then boom, they snatching them right up, and it can go both ways. But for the most part, until the money, it's a disparity in money. Until HBCUs have any semblance of the money that the PWIs, and for those guys that don't know what PWIs are, those are predominantly white institutions. Hey, let me look and see who on here. Dr. Linda Mitchell, what's going on? I'm talking with Coach Anthony Bonner. What's up, my guy? Good to see you, AB. That's a buddy of mine. I played basketball with Coach out in Nebraska. We called him Rabbit. I'm talking about Rabbit jump out the gym. Creighton, the University of Nebraska, all of them wanted him. But he ended up going to San Diego State University. Glad you chiming in, AB. Let's see. Hey, cuz, Robin Javette Mobley, love you so much. And whoever else tuning in is going to tune in even more. But it's a disparity in the money, Coach. And as long as it's continuing to be a disparity in the money, we know we're going to just have to continue to do the best we can. And I tell these young guys, it's about who you know. You're going to wake up one day and be glad you know a Coach Cole. You better be glad that you know a D. Mitch and myself. Somebody can position you in front of one of these coaches or something that can help you down the line, because it's so much notoriety out here with social media, Coach. There's other avenues where I had Charlie Neal on the show, the voice of all the HBCU football. He's opened the doors for many people in Black college sports. But yet here he is. I don't even know if he wanted an opportunity. He was at BET. He started off over there with them with the Johnsons. Yeah. Would they put somebody just as good as the great Charlie Neal in there to play-by-play, at some of these PWI schools? Even if he wanted the opportunity. Every coach may not want the opportunity, but it's unfair that we don't have the opportunities. And that's what we wanted to discuss and let people know that the money ain't the same out there for everybody.
This portal stuff. Just think about this portal stuff goes way, way, way back when it was undercutting, paying players back then to go to school. I can go back and I can talk about Donald Smith that played at Raw, the basketball player. University of Dayton bought him. I can just go on down the road and talk about Larry Williams, who played for Dunbar, was fullback. Kansas paid for him underneath the table. See, so, it was going on way back then. They was buying the athletes. And now it's wide open now that they're getting, tons of money. They're getting more money than a doggone first round draft pick in the NFL. So why leave college and take less money? See, they got set money. They got set money for the first year pro player, but shit in college, you it's way up there. So hey, I don't blame them. I take it, but my thing is though, it's really messing up football. I would say, this is my opinion, I wouldn't give the kids the money right now. I'll give the money at the end, but everybody can get a set salary. I don't know if it's $20,000, $30,000, but if you go through your 4 years or 5 years of school, you graduate, you got that money waiting for at the end to give you a start in whatever direction you want to go. This thing that's happening right now, it's going to explode though. Because people don't understand about taxes. Ain't nobody giving you free money now. So these parents and everything that got their hand out, everything, they better understand about the taxes and all, and different things. And, money brings a lot of other things come involved with money. Now, money is what they say, one of the evil things.
Yes, it can be. It definitely can be, depending on how you use it. It really surely can.
That's
It
right.
can be a blessing if you use it in the right way, but if you use it in the wrong way, it definitely can be for something evil. Leon Thomason, what's up, cuz? I appreciate you chiming in. Gave a segment earlier about and Leon, he went to Roth High School. He was a phenomenal football player. Leon Thomason, cuzzo in the house. His son Noah played for Niagara University in New York, also played for University of Georgia Bulldogs. Didn't get drafted this year, but is signing contracts, working on closing a deal over in Europe right now. We're going to have him on the show. So we appreciate you chiming in, cuz we really do. Coach, next move, next question. Listen, does Clark Atlanta offer full athletic scholarships? How does that work?
Well, when you get in Division II, everything is not a full scholarship, because what they do, they'll give you full 36. That's what Division II gets. You'll get a full 36, but you got to break them all up in order to get a full team. You know, if you talk about Clark Atlanta now, Clark Atlanta is an expensive school to go to. You're talking about almost $50,000 to go there to school a year. Now that's a lot of money. And so what we have to do is we got to break up and go part scholarship, part financial aid. So that's what we do. We break it all up to get our numbers up.
Are you recruiting more in-state or out-of-state? Is it harder to get that out-of-state athlete?
Well, you know, one of the things for us is Georgia has a lot of good football players in the state of Georgia. I mean, a lot of football players. Just Atlanta alone, you're talking about almost 50 to 60 high schools just the surrounding area.
Woo!
But what we did is, I'm gonna tell you what we did. We had to go with the flow. What we did is we went to the transfer portal, and the reason I say we went to the transfer portal, you got to get older guys. You right. Just can't come in like I just told you. We had guys transferred out. As soon as the coach that was there got fired and left, there's a bunch of kids just transferred out and left. So what do? You
gotta have somebody.
Right. So if you go in there and you recruit high school kids, and what I told you, you develop them, next year you probably won't even you won't see those kids. So you're back to square one. What? Recruiting the same kids over and over and over. So what we did is we went and got older kids. And when we left Allen, all those kids wanted to come. Do you turn them down or do you bring them on? So we know they know our offense, they know our defense, they know our special teams. Why not bring somebody that already know your system, and then you ain't got to start teaching over and everything?
It's just that kind of game, y'all. Y'all see what it is? We happy for these kids to be getting paid now. We happy because we know that the coaches, the staff, the universities mainly have been making money in billions and I don't even know what it would be, because all of this just came into play for paying the players legally. But although they've always been breaking the rules, like you say, since the beginning of time, athletes have gotten money. Even when I was in college, they called me down. I was on a full scholarship, but when they went in that SEOG money, I said, "What is SEOG money? We got some grant money down here. They just went in the drawer. Coach pulled it open and said, I was like, yeah, just take this. And I don't know if they cut me a check, whatever it was, but I mean, just money, it was on several occasions. So it happens. Now, Coach, can you speak a little bit about the standards in terms of academics there, and far as like the athletes? Is a certain GPA and different things like that they have to have?
Yeah, to get into Clark, you as a freshman, you have to have a 3.0. You have to have a 3.0, and then on your test score, you're gonna range from 19 to 20, 23 to get in there. So for freshmen, it's a all those schools that sit in there, we're in that quadruplex. You got Morehouse, you got Spelman, and you got Clark. They're all academic schools. They're private schools. So private school tuition is way up there.
Well, like I said, I'm sending my niece down there, Erica Mitchell. She coming down there to see her distant uncle and you, even though she don't know nothing about basketball. She starts school at Clark Atlanta. Erica does. I guess it was about 2 weeks or so, or maybe less
Yeah.
than 3.
Yeah,
They start school down there, so she'll be looking you up and everything. But I definitely know, yeah, them are wonderful academic institutions in that area. Um, let's see here, Coach. Now let's talk a little Nebraska football. For you guys listening, check this out. Leon, AB, if you still tuned in up there, this guy here, tell us a little bit about playing for legendary coach Tom Osborne at Nebraska, being the captain of the team, making an all conference. Just tell us a little bit about your experience out there in Nebraska.
One of I'll just go back when I was in high school at Dunbar. And I just remember when I was recruited. During that time, you could take many as visits you want to. And I think I took something where along about 15 visits to different places I went. Mm-hmm. And I kind of narrowed it down to Ohio State, Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, Nebraska, certain schools. But I had a guy by the name of Bill Miles, the one that recruited me. And I kind of, he got kind of close with my family more than anything. And I think one of the reasons why I didn't go to Ohio State is I always remember the day I had went and visited Michigan and visit Bo Schembechler and them, and they gave me a gold jersey with Michigan across it. And, so when you go to school, you get that jersey, and then you wear it to school on that Monday. So when I got back, I wore it to school. But I didn't know that Woody Hayes was coming in. They brought him in on a helicopter, and they landed him down in front of Dunbar High School and landed a helicopter. Woody Hayes came in, and I guess he came in and he went in the teacher's lounge, and they called me on the speaker and just told me hey, we need to see you down in the teacher's lounge. I didn't even know. School was just roaming because
Woody Hayes, Ohio State legend, y'all. Y'all already know those who know.
Right. So I didn't know. So when I walked down and I went to go in the teacher's lounge, when I walked in, he was behind the door. And when I walked in, he seen me with that Michigan shirt on. That mother grabbed me by my throat right here and picked me up off the ground. And he asked me, he says, "What the hell you doing with that doggone Michigan shirt on?" He said, "What, Bo Schembechler trying to get me upset and all that?" And I just, I couldn't hardly talk. And I said, "If you put me down, I could explain to you why I have this shirt on today." And I told him I had went to Michigan over the weekend, and they gave me this shirt. And when I went up there to visit them, shit, they gave me something like 10 shirts. So
absolutely.
So after that point, and then, he asked me a question about Nebraska. Coach Osborne came in. When he came down to his school. He went over to my house and visited with my mother and stuff. And, and the unique thing about Coach Osborne, he told my mother, you want me to help you wash dishes or do this or do this? My mother said no. But she said Coach Osborne was a real nice guy, and she just felt pretty good with him. And then when I went out there to visit, see, the Big 8 and the Big 10 was different. The Big 8, you ate on the training table year round. They gave you a movie pass. They gave you free books. They did all these things. The Big 10, you only ate on the training table during the season. After that, you had to eat in the dormitory and all that. And then, plus, Nebraska had a JV team. Ohio State didn't have no JV team. You played right in it together. But they tried to convince me to come to Ohio State. Had Chris Ward talk to me. Had all them guys. Chris was from Dayton. So they tried to get Chris Ward to convince me to go. But then I just told them, no, I'm gonna go out to Nebraska, and I think that was the right place for me. I felt very comfortable with, Coach Osborne was a real down to earth, type guy, was a coach, and I think he cared a little bit more about you than, most of the other guys.
Absolutely. And you just performed well. You had a phenomenal career. And then again, you went on into New York Jets organization and with the Denver Broncos organization. Then you played over in the World Football League. And then you decided, well, from there, I just want to coach football. for the rest of my career. Nebraska, under Coach Matt Rule. I love this hire. I think that he's going to transform us this year into at least a bowl game team. 6, 7, 8, 9 wins. I see it easy on this particular schedule. We got the number 1 5-star quarterback from last year in Dylan Raiola. That's a legacy Nebraska commit.
Mm-hmm.
His father played in the NFL and everything, or his uncle rather. And then you have Coach Rule's defenses ran by Tony White. Have you ever seen anybody run? He took this defense that was horrific the year before to finishing last year ranked number 16 in all of the nation. They run a 3-3-5 defense, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked a little bit about this before, but what is it about this 3-3-5 that has had Coach Tony White have so much success at Syracuse? Now he's coming over to Nebraska and having the same sort of success. Do they not see this 3-3-5 a lot, or what is
it? It's just what I told you. I just called it 34.
You see it a lot.
Right. Well, people getting this 3-man rush, but they're bringing people from every which direction that you don't know. Somebody coming, somebody dropping. They zone blitzing and doing a lot of different things, and that's what you do. My thing at Nebraska, because I was on the black shirt defense. We always ranked number 1, number 2 and defensively, and
yes,
I kind of watched Nebraska. I watch them every time I get a chance to watch them on TV, and it's. It ain't been good sitting there watching them, though. In the last couple of years, it's not been that great. My biggest deal, I didn't like when they went to the Big Ten, but I guess that's a money movement and all that kind of stuff like that.
It was.
The Big Ten is a real tough conference. It's Nebraska sits way out Midwest, and now you come way back towards this way, because Nebraska fans travel wherever they go. I mean, they love that football program, and they're very supportive of that program. And I would always take my hat off to the people out there, because I mean they welcomed me out there with open hands when I was out there. I mean, I learned a whole lot. Worked on farm. I birthed cows. Went hunting. I learned so much that's being a city boy, and ended up going like just living in the wild, learning everything that I went out there. And I couldn't say anything any totally different, especially you coming from Dayton, and then with Dunbar, there was no white students or anything like that. So, you went and you kind of adapted. Now, let me tell you this little story. So I'm sitting in the dormitory. So, how you come to the city, you kind of talk kind of funny. I don't talk like before, but, we used to use that word. You used to say jab, or hey man, I'm going to split to the crib, and like this. So the white students, they would always hear me and some other guys talk, and then a couple of them just come and ask me, they say, "You got a baby here?" I said, "No, I ain't got no baby. I just say, hey, I'm getting ready to split. I'm getting ready to go to the crib. Crib me, I'm going to my room. They thinking that I got a baby in the crib, in
the crib.
Yeah, I said I'm going to the crib, And I said, man, you jive turkey. They said, what do you mean by that? I said, man, he's full of bull crap. That's what that means, jive turkey, So, I learned from them. They learned from me. So, that's why.
It was funny, Coach. I tell you this story. And Anthony Bonner's on here, and that's Rabbit. Like I said, he jumped out the gym. He went and played ball with me out there in Nebraska. He went to San Diego State. But we were the first 4. You ready for this? First 4 blacks into the whole school, which back then it was called NTCC Community College. Now it's called, we called it Northeast Tech. They just call it Northeast now Community College in Norfolk, Nebraska. The first 4 blacks ever into the school. Okay. And so we used to have people just come up to us and be like, just looking at you, or a lot of people in the small town, they hadn't been around,
they want to,
early '80s,
they want to touch you. They want to touch you and all that.
The mid '80s, it is what it is. So
yeah, I told them I'm real. I'm real.
Yeah, I'm definitely real.
Yeah, I used to go to all them small towns and all that kind of stuff. Everything. I enjoyed my time in Nebraska. I wouldn't take it away for nothing.
Yeah, I love it. Up in Omaha, they got all those meat packing plants, IBPs. I used to tell people back in the day, man, y'all can come from Dayton, wherever you want to go. They always hiring out here at the meat packing plant. They was paying you too.
That was my summer job, the meat packing company.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, Coach. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about, even though we elaborated on it a little bit, the disparity, once again, from HBCU coaches, head coaches, like the salaries of the head coaches, the assistant coaches, et cetera, et cetera. The pay structure is not the same as at the PWI, the predominantly white schools. But why is it? And this is a factual question for the listening audience. Do you know that in the National Football League, more Hall of Fame players have come from predominantly black colleges that are in the Hall of Fame than any PWI?
Right. Yeah.
That Hall of Fame and that NFL is full of HBCU players. And I think, Coach, even today, let's just be real, that these players that's playing at Southern, Texas Southern, going back over there where Dion was at, right? All the school, Jackson State, et cetera, it don't matter. Central State, we've seen them put pros out.
Yeah.
They don't draft us, Coach. We become a UGA, UDA, undrafted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
They bring you in, but they know they're going to get a gem because he's been through the HBCU system. He didn't played under Coach Cole, perhaps, but we're not going to draft him. When we going to get beyond being either how many rounds is the NFL draft now? If they take one from the HBCU, yeah, they take you way down the line at the end or make you undrafted. What do you ever see that changing?
No,
because they know these guys can play.
I don't think it'll. I don't think it'll never change. I think one thing is you gotta look at it around. It's all about money. It's all about money, and it's always about perception. When you say most of the guys who go to big schools, they're well known across the country. Everybody sees them on TV. Well, who sees the black guy on TV? It's about that marketing. So this guy that's playing up on this level is marketed. His marketing plan is much, 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 much more better than that guy right there. You look at them quarterback disparity. You look how many black quarterbacks that's better than a whole lot of them other guys. But the marketing part, because that guy is Mike Vick is here, he's there. But just like Darnell Kennedy, our quarterback, he's at Alabama State. Well, how many people knows about him at Alabama State? They don't. Everybody knows about that black quarterback that went to Nebraska, but nobody knows about the black kid that goes to Alcorn State and those different marketing places. You're not on TV very much, or anything like that. So if it's about that marketing and they can't market you, then there's no value. If you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
But then again, the PWI is getting all the best players now they stealing them from us anymore. So they ain't gonna be drafting from you because you ain't gonna have that caliber player, because they're gonna take that player and put him up there, and he's gonna go that way because he knows one thing: in order for him to get to that level and be on TV and be marketed, where he got to go? He's got to go to the PWI, and that's that PWI is just I mean, this NIL don't kill black college. I'm gonna tell you, it don't kill black college because all your good players are doing what? They're going that way. Now, you think none of them got drafted this time? Wait till this year come and the next year. You ain't gonna see nobody get drafted because they all gonna be where?
Yeah,
at the PWIs, getting that money and getting market. That's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna. You know, right now we had an argument the other day about being on TV. You know, all our games at 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, but all the best games are at 12, Big Ten 12, 1, 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Black schools, their games are at all our games. If you look on our games in the morning at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that's it. And I was looking at it, but that's where they did it right now. They changed everything, so ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. The disparity is just incredible. It's just another like way now. It's just everybody has become, you guys, if you listen, it's like farm leagues now. You one team coach another team up, you coach a player for a minute, they're gonna get snatched. They're gonna get snatched.
Hey, you got it. We're the minor league. Minor league feed to there.
And it's crazy because you got phenomenal coaches. I mean, hey, Fred Turner, what's going on, man? Me and Fred go way back to grade school. Coach, he remembers you very well. In fact, he played football. He was a star up there at Bowling Green State University from 84 to 87, I believe it was. For Fred up there. Good hearing from you, Fred. Appreciate you. You came out of Chaminade Julian. Coach, so with that being said, I do want to present one good note because it just sort of makes me feel like with all the talent you have as a coach, do you guys recognize this man didn't work with Bill Belichick, who coached Tom Brady? Okay. Yeah. He didn't work with Belichick. He's been up under Cleveland Browns. Okay. He didn't work with Nick Saban of Alabama and all of this. And you telling me that you shouldn't have opportunity if you would want to be a coach at a PWI with 7 championships. The only coach African-American to win a league championship in a PWI, predominantly white instituted league. Okay. So that's just my opinion. But I had on my show last year, I had Coach Cleo Hill. He's the coach at predominantly HBCU, Winston-Salem State University, North Carolina. Basketball. Phenomenal coach. He finally got opportunity. He became the head coach at this year at Maryland Eastern Shore University. I'm going to have him on the show. But I told him, I said, Coach, if anybody can do it, it's you, because Maryland Eastern Shore has been a university that's been predominantly downtrodden for years and hasn't won a lot of games. So I was just letting you know that there are examples of coaches at the Division II level like he was that got a Division I call. And I just wanted to shout that out because you don't hear it all the time.
Right. When I was at Morgan State, Maryland should be real good in basketball. And then they kind of just, I don't know, kind of dropped to the wayside. They used to be pretty good in basketball. Back in there, like 82, 83, 84, they were pretty good, but they dropped off tremendously. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with basketball. Where our basketball players get sucked up and going, same scenarios. They get sucked up and they all going to them paydays in that basketball is big now.
We thought we was gonna have a big HBCU movement. We was trying there for a while, but again, like you say, a lot of Division I players, they got there and realized, within that first year, the bag wasn't what I thought it might be, or he should have knew that when they went there. But maybe it was too much pressure on them, and instead of taking the bag, then they transfer out.
I think one of the things too, I'll say this, and I think HBCU could be real good. But I think it's the organization about it. You know, when I look at it was Howard, Howard, Hampton, North Carolina A&T. See what they did? They moved into the PWI conference. See, They moved to PIW conference.
Yeah.
Tennessee State that's what they're playing, more of the PWI teams. But see, if you really go back, when Grambling, Southern, all of them was good, Tennessee State them played each other. The stadiums were packed, they were crowded. But some odd reason, we don't change, and we trying to cross that line and going into other conference. And I'm telling you, pretty soon it won't be no black college conference. I'm gonna just tell you, watch what I'm saying, and you're gonna a couple years from now, you're gonna say, boy, that Coach Cole, he was right. Because I see that's what's happening right now. Because you look at all the major schools, they faded. They've been gone. And see, Tennessee State, somebody need to get in there, because just imagine if you can put Grambling, Tennessee State, Southern, Hampton, A&T, you put an all-American conference. You have to do what they're doing in the Big Ten and around the conference with all these white schools. If the black schools would turn around and get the powerhouse schools and put them together, I'm telling you, we'll have something. I would just have to say, Mississippi Valley, hey, I'm sorry, you can't be, or Alcorn, you can't be. If you ain't got a band over 100, people in your band, you can't be in this all-American conference. And I think you get more TV, more kids to play, and also you put Jackson State in there. That's another top team. See, and you build an all-American black conference. I'm telling you, it'll work, but we don't look at it that way.
Y'all heard it right here on Straight from the Source First, Coach. That might become something that's real.
We spreading all over the place. Just imagine if all them teams would just come together and have an all-American black conference. I tell you what, you have something. You would have something.
Absolutely. Hey, Pam Yogi Carter. Good. That was, man, Pam was an incredible cheerleader when we was in high school up at Fairview, man. I tell you, good to hear from you, Pam. No doubt about it. What did typically see coaches? Fred said, I typically see coaches go the other direction from PWI to HBCUs. He said one of his coaches at Bowling Green ended up at a historically black at Alabama A&M, Reggie Oliver.
Yeah, I know Reggie Oliver.
You know Reggie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He said he was also the quarterback at Marshall after the plane crash. Thanks for sharing that with us, Fred. We appreciate you so much for sharing. Coach, we getting close to winding it down. Listen, I wanted you to elaborate a little bit about your family. What it's like to wake up knowing I got Stevie right here next to me, because I know you come from a mom, God-fearing mom. You know, your whole family, they praying people, just like mine. And you know, you so many of you guys won scholarships out the family. You know, that's very, very unique. I had a scholarship. My brother had a scholarship, and some of the siblings that they had, you know, down the line. But just in that lineage right there, and to sit here when you look at just everybody who's been successful in life out your family, with all the family, with all the siblings that you have, and you look over and you say, well, okay, here I am, I'm coaching still today. I played at the University of Nebraska. I was a legend in high school. Then you look over here and you got, I'm just naming it because all these codes was incredible, y'all coming up, right? But the ones that y'all might notably know the most, right? LC obviously on the show. But tell them, this Trent, you know, we were supposed to do something and we didn't get that interview done. Remember, he went into the Philadelphia Eagles, Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
That's big time. And you know, and then you got Norris playing with Shaquille, playing with LeBron James and D Wade at Miami, winning what, 2 or 3 rings? I forgot how many rings he got. 2 or 3. 2. Yeah, he won 2 championship rings in the NBA. And like I said, then you got the NFL with Trent. You got you doing all that you doing. You got Johnny, Mr. Texas Southern. You know.
My brother Stevie, he won 4 state Georgia, I think it's 4-3 state Georgia girls basketball championship. They named the basketball court after him in Georgia.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is just crazy, man. When y'all write the book, I mentioned this to y'all last time. Whenever y'all write the book, man, just let me say something. I enjoy my interviews on Straight from the Source. Just let me, me and David had great conversation. Just let me say something in the book, man, because that's something y'all need to do. That's something y'all need to do as a family.
Yeah. I always just go back and give the credit to my parents and everything, my mother and my father. I think that's where it all comes from. Them making us very close, making us understand it, because my mother and father, they originated from Talladega, Alabama. They moved up here from Talladega, Alabama. And they left there because my mother and father only had third grade education. You can only go that far to school back then and there. They didn't let you go. You had to work. You didn't go to no school, so you always had to work. So when my mother and father came to Ohio, they kind of went back to school, night school, and then my mother them ended up graduating. But they made us, we were very close to each other. That's one thing they taught us about, looking at one another, taking care of one another, and I always take my hat off to the boys club. I think that was one of the deals too, because the boys club introduced you to a lot of different things at that boys club. I mean, they had, you had basketball, you had wrestling, swimming, you had art, you had everything. And then also you had people over there. You had, I would just say, fatherhood guys like Donald Winborn, them guys that worked in the gymnasium, and Mr. Hawkins. I mean, it was just so many guys you had to look up to as we were going through. So, hey, them guys were strict, your teachers were strict. You take your hat off when you walk in the building, all the things you just weren't growing up in Dayton. And I just appreciate all the people that were influenced for me and my brother and the family and everything. I mean, like they say, it takes the whole community to raise everybody. Your neighbor, if your neighbor seen you did something wrong, they'll whoop you.
Absolutely.
And tell your mama that they whoop you.
That's how it was when we was growing up. I mean, you were held more accountable, so to speak, than kids are today. Everybody's individually doing their own thing. They don't even want to say nothing or correct nobody else's kids. They're scared of what might happen. But
it's just and that's what you see now. You didn't see no homeless people walk around during those times. No. You didn't see that. Because everybody just kind of worked together, and
everybody tried to help each other.
Yeah,
and that's what we're trying to do with this show, is help people. If you guys out there and y'all got some kids and they playing football, and if they getting overlooked, we know a lot of coaches that might be able to help some of you youngsters out there, whether that's football or basketball. And, the most important thing is getting an education. Coach can attest to that, because, again, it's only a small percentage of kids that's going to ever play in the NFL, in the NBA, or any of those accolades that a lot of the coaches have maybe reached. Everybody's not going to reach that. But what are you going to do after sports? Are you going to coach? Are you going to go into medicine maybe? Are you going to be a doctor, be a lawyer, something like that?
See, mine, and this is not knocking against music and everything right now, but, too many of our young people, that I talk to and everything, want to be rappers. Rappers are a one-time hit deal. Yes. And I just got a lot of them, you be talking to them about being rappers. I say, that's not an easy business now. And they want to be rappers, but they don't want to go. They don't want no 8-to-5 job. They don't want to do that. Just think about yourself when you're growing up. You cut grass. You did everything. You earn your money. You shovel snow. I just told people you used to couldn't wait till it snowed to shovel somebody's snow and make some money and all that kind of stuff. Now everybody just want the hand out, and they just want you to put that money in their hand. They do nothing. Stay in the bed till 12 o'clock. Shit, we used to be up about 7 o'clock in the morning rolling.
Look,
now they'll be sitting in that bed sleeping till noontime.
These kids, if you don't push them out the home, they'll live with you until they're 50 now, Coach. Mom, Mixie, they will stay with you until they 50 years old now if you don't say, look, it's time for you to go, okay?
I'm gonna tell you something now. Down here in the South, it's like that. It's heavy like that down here. The kids don't
Oh
go
my
anywhere.
God. I
They stay.
moved when I
They
came
stay.
out here to the DC area about 15 years ago or so, DC, Maryland, Virginia. I couldn't believe it. At first, I was single, coach, right? And before I met my wife. And I would go different places. I'm trying to date, and next thing you know, you hear boom, boom, or something. Coach, what is this? You be, that's my uncle and his child. They staying up in the attic. You know, you be like, you thought you was on like a little romantic date, right? You lucky you got in the house, and next thing you know, you hear the uncle up here, dad living down outside. You know, but a lot of people piggyback on each other because different areas, cost of living is a little bit higher. I get it, but certain players, I do come to a realization that it's an attitude thing. The kids today, they just don't want to work as hard. Not all of them. Some of them are highly intelligent and have everything that it takes, but we just living in I think we living in some end times. We living in different era now. The game didn't change so much. We ain't even gonna get into that too much. You can barely touch the players now compared to when you played.
Yeah.
And my brother and everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all used to come off the line. You could knock somebody upside their head, coach.
Yeah.
Now,
hey, basketball was even rough during that time.
Basketball was even rough for us coming up.
Yeah.
And you can't get me to 1 minute sit here and still say that, and it may sound biased, but to me it sounds like common sense. If you had Michael Jordan, you had Larry Bird, and somebody like a Magic Johnson, there's no way you could say I'm taking this new kid. What's his name? He's Anthony Edwards. He plays in the NBA. They calling him the next Michael Jordan. In fact, I'm almost willing to say at this point in stage, even in his early career, that he'll never be as good as Michael Jordan. I just don't see it. And
it will never be. I don't think it'll never be a Michael Jordan again. I mean, not in my lifetime. I mean, it might, but
Coach, you didn't have somebody rubbing you all the time, soaking your feet, and you guys went out there in them black shirts and played every single day. You go through Nebraska now, they treating these kids. I mean, they got everything in them facilities that they need to be successful. But kids don't play as much. They get hurt more now than ever at every level, from the high school to the pro, and they got all the things to benefit them now.
Yeah. Well, you go around the neighborhoods now. There's no more neighborhood football no more. You don't see kids out there playing no football anymore. And half the time they sit in the house playing what? Video games. That's the substitute for playing now. Everybody right now, I hear everybody talking right now about this new video game out. The college game is out now. Everybody's playing that. Even 24-year, 30-year-olds, 2 or 3 hours, everybody. That's all I hear talk right now. Everybody playing that game.
Wow. Listen, y'all, it's been fun. Me and Coach sit here and talk all day. I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna chat with him for a brief second off the live. But listen, you guys, we appreciate you chiming in. It'd be other guys and people. I gotta go and check my other stuff. Cause this is going out on a few other platforms, Coach. So we only see one platform here.
Yeah. So everybody make sure they at that. Hey, come on down there. I think it's Central State got us for homecoming too.
Yeah, the Central State. Let me see. I'll tell you the exact date of that game for you guys who in the 937 area. You can make it out to the game. Let's see. Coach and Clark Atlanta University will be on the road at Central State University, Wilberforce, Ohio, October the 12th at 1 p.m.
That's their homecoming.
October the 12th. Y'all got that, Fred? At 1 p.m., October the 12th, 2024 this year. That's going to be Central State University's homecoming. So that's going to be off the chain. That's going to be good.
So, and then what I'll do is I'm going to call you, you ain't. Yeah, you ain't. You won't be at the game anyway.
We don't know by October. I might make it down there for that game. I might try to get down there for that one, Coach. But you're right. I'm up here in Virginia, but yeah, I know some people gonna be there though.
Okay.
Absolutely, y'all. Get down to Central State. That's going to be a wonderful game. We'll talk way before then, though, Coach. I might end up being at that game. I really want to see that game and at Central State University. Listen, Coach, stay on. I'm going to put you in the private room. We're going to chat for a hot second before I let you go. Appreciate everybody that chimed in. Stay in touch. All my good people I hadn't heard from in a while. Good hearing from you. We're going to see who was on Twitter. We're going to see who was on YouTube and those things, and we'll get those comments together, Coach. I'll make sure I get this interview to you. Always a blessing to have you on the show. Glad to have you back, pulling for you and your family as always. And again, you guys, let me say this. I think I mentioned it earlier, but coming up on the show, straight from the source, I'm not giving a particular date now, but I have Coach Cleo Hill. He is the new head basketball coach at NCAA Division I, Maryland Eastern Shore University, okay? He's moving up from the Division II ranks, a brother. They got a promotion in the Division I ranks, going to a PWI. We wishing him well there. Deron Holmes had him on the show, kid out of Dayton, Coach. It's sadly, he went number 22 in the draft from Dayton in the NBA draft. He was on my show last year, him and his family. He ruptured his Achilles in the first NBA Summer League game.
It'll take a year to heal that.
I'm so blessed, though, for him and his family that, guess what? He was the last first-round player to pick, last first-rounder to sign his NBA contract in the draft this year, even though he went number 22. But he got that. He got like $16 million with about 6 or 7 of that guaranteed. So he gonna be all right there. But he just got to get himself, wishing best on his healing. But he'll be back on the show, him and his family soon. I was hoping we was talking about the Nuggets this season, him playing, but we're gonna be talking about his rehab, and he will be back on the court next year. Noah Thomason coming on the show. His dad tuned in today. Played collegiate basketball at Niagara University. He played at the University of Georgia in the SEC. He's also didn't get drafted this year, but he is signing a contract to play professionally overseas. And once he gets that completed, he's going to be on the show. Phenomenal young man. I also want to mention I'm going to have Delwan Mitchell on the show, one of my nephews. He is the coach at Fredericksburg Christian High School here in Virginia. He runs their AAU department for the kids. Just had his first big camp. I was able to get in there for an hour or so, but I've been so busy. Just want to highlight some of the things he's done and with his first camp, and his son, my nephew Solomon, going up them AAU ranks, and just want to sort of highlight them as well. Listen, it was great talking to Mom Mitzi today. This is Coach's wife. I don't know if she's still right there, Coach, but she is just a wonderful, beautiful person. And I see why you be sitting there smiling every day. She's just a wonderful person for you, Coach, and I'm sure vice versa. And listen, man, I'm gonna let these people go. And until next time, you guys, we appreciate your support here on Straight from the Source. Continue to do what you do best. Remember to love sports, but most importantly, always remember you got to have something to do when them sports are not there. So always take care of your business, and your health is your wealth. All right, y'all. Until next time, we'll talk to you. Stay right there, Coach. Y'all be easy, y'all. Peace and love.